Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage National NVOAD Board Member Jen Dorsch.
Good morning. As he just said, I'm Jen Dorsch. I'm from Brethren Disaster Ministries and a member of the National NVOAD Board of Directors. So it's my pleasure to welcome you this morning to the breakfast session at National NVOAD Conference. This morning we're going to include a think tank panel on technology and how it impacts and integrates disaster relief and recovery. Before we get started though, I have a couple reminders I just wanted to get out to you all. You've heard some of them before, but just a reminder that the silent auction is going on right now. The auction raises money to help us defray the costs for our state and territory board representatives to attend the conference, and it will close at noon on Thursday, so make sure you go outside these doors and make your bid out by the registration. Just a reminder, hashtag NVC Houston. Get on Facebook and Twitter and make sure you're sharing your experience here. We do have the conference app, so make sure that you don't forget to download it. You can go to the App Store or to Google Play Store and download the Topi app, and it's free. So make sure that you go there and you'll be able to see the NVOAD 2017 conference event, and it'll appear and you'll be able to access all the information for sessions and many other things as well. Don't forget to visit our exhibitors. Take time to visit them next door at the exhibit hall. We have a great variety of exhibitors that are over there, so please stop by and see all the great services that they have that you can learn about. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our honored guest, Harris County Judge Ed Emmett. So he's coming and he's going to provide us with some opening remarks.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome to Harris County, Texas. Now, most of you, when you left home, you said you were going to Houston. You probably didn't say you were going to Harris County. But here you are. Harris County is the third largest county in the United States. We have more people in 25 states. But the reason I'm here is under state law, the county judge in each of the 254 counties in Texas is the Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management for the entire county. So when a disaster comes, and we have lots of disasters here, just based on where we are, sometimes they're hurricanes, sometimes they're floods. And for those of you up north, if we have 1/8 of an inch of ice, we have an ice storm. And yes, we have to activate our emergency center for such activities. Let me clear up one thing first, since most of you are not from the state of Texas. My title is county judge, but I'm not a judge. I'm not even a lawyer. It goes back in Texas history. And in the rural counties, the county judge does actually perform some probate functions and things like that. I don't. But as I said, the county judge is responsible for Homeland Security and Emergency Management. But to confuse you a little more, I and the 4 county commissioners oversee policy for the county, everything from transportation to health care, mental health, flood control, you name it. And collectively, we are called the Commissioner's Court, but we're not a court. So you understand why my 13 grandchildren have trouble explaining what I do. I'm a judge, but not a judge, and I preside over a court that's not a court. And whenever there's a disaster, I'm in front of the television cameras explaining to people what's going on. And I guarantee you, they're all sitting there going, we're listening to you, but what's a judge got to do with any of this? So that's my life. But if you go back farther in life, I grew up in a town called New London, Texas. This is a quiz. How many of you have ever heard of New London, Texas? It's very important in the history of disasters, because I did have a few hands out there, because March 18th, 1937, the school blew up. 295 people perished. And the entire time I was growing up, nobody wanted to talk about that. I mean, it completely destroyed the school. Some families were wiped out. Dad would go off to the oil field to work and came home and had no family left. I mean, it was a horrible situation. Nobody liked to talk about it. And I just grew up with that as my background. When I became county judge in 2007, that's the first time I realized I was going to be in charge of disaster response. And we had a hurricane in 2008. Hurricane Ike came. By and large, we got pretty good marks on the way we responded. But what became abundantly clear to me was that we had put in place the right mechanisms, but it was a lot of people like you that did the work. I mean, there's no way that just our government entity and our government employees could have responded to that disaster. So that started me thinking back to my youth. And I thought, 1937, no FEMA, no county judge in charge. Who actually organized the response at the New London school explosion? So I started going back, and in fact, I had the privilege and honor of speaking to the survivors a few years ago of that disaster. And what you found out was the community just rallied together. The oil field workers all brought their equipment, and they started clearing the rubble. They weren't waiting on any official response because, frankly, there wouldn't have been one. Eventually, the National Guard was sent in to make sure that everything stayed secure. But it was the ordinary citizens that rallied. Who organized them? I have no idea. I've never been able to get an answer to that. Who actually said, well, you go do this and you go do that? It just happened. So my message to you this morning and welcoming you here is very, very simple. The one thing I've discovered in my decade of being in charge of disaster response and emergency management in Harris County is that at the end of the day, what really makes it work is ordinary people doing extraordinary things and being in the right place to do them. That's what you do. You make sure that you have ordinary people who are prepared to do extraordinary things to help everybody else in the community. So I thank you for that. So more than welcoming you to Harris County, I thank you for what you do for your community, and I hope you have a wonderful conference the rest of your time here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge Emmett. As we begin our plenary sessions, we take a moment to reflect upon and celebrate our diverse spirituality, as well as take time to keep in mind those affected by the disasters such as the tornadoes that touched down in Oklahoma and Wisconsin overnight. National VOAD recognizes that the spirituality is an essential part of humanity and respects the broad diversity of beliefs and backgrounds represented by our member organizations. The prayers before National VOAD conference meals will reflect this diversity. We recognize the right of each faith group and individual to hold their existing faith traditions and invite you to respectfully participate according to your own beliefs and with the sensitivity to others. I now invite Reverend Lorraine Wattell here to deliver a spiritual offering. Reverend Lorraine Wattell is an ordained minister in the United Methodist Church and is on staff for the Central Texas Conference as the coordinator for disaster response and the Volunteers in Mission. She currently serves as the chair of the Texas VOAD, so we welcome Reverend Lorraine.
Good morning. Will you please join me? Oh, holy and gracious God, as we come this day, we come humbled that we are the ordinary people, that you have called to do extraordinary things. And Lord, as we look around this room and celebrate the collaboration and the cooperation and all the beauty of us working together, we know that we are a small representation for all those who are back home still working, still waiting, still loving, still supporting, still nurturing those who have been in harm's way. Oh, holy God, we lift up all of them to you, the survivors, the workers, and ask that you bless all of our endeavors and all that we do, that we remember that this is never about us, but this is about you and about the survivors. Oh, holy God, may you continue to bless all of our work and all that we do. and that all that we do may glorify you. Be with us and guide us in this time here. May we continue to grow and learn so that we can go home and share what we have learned with others to continue this great work in ministry. Be with us and guide us and bless this food to nourish and strengthen us so that we can serve you in this day. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
So now enjoy your breakfast or the rest of your breakfast, and we'll be back for a panel after just a short break.